Welcome to today's podcast where we talk about manifesting and what's stopping it from working for you. So my name is Douglas Bedford and this is the Caring Brook podcast. I am a mindset coach again that helps creatives get past any self-sabotaging behaviors and patterns that's stopping them from getting to their next point in their life. Because we all have limiting beliefs that if we can just make a change to them, then we can have the life that we want today. And one thing that people will do is focus on manifesting as a way of getting to the life they want. And for some people, they say that they are manifestors, and they are, and they get the life that they want. And there's some people that are manifestors and they're still doing affirmations and all these things and nothing's happening, right? So what is it? Why do some people get all the luck and some people don't? Is it something that you did? Is your karmatic past that you still have to pay for? Is it something to where you're just not a energy manifester and you just don't have that capabilities? I say that with respect because I definitely did my research and used manifestation, or I used manifestation as a tool to create change in my life. In the first episode of this podcast, I talked about my origin of being a bartender. And during that time, I wanted to become the best in the best I could be. And I read through all these different sort of books on personal development coaching, and I came across manifesting and being able to project myself into the future and get the life that I wanted to create. And I did that. And in a very short amount of time, became on top of the bartending world. I know for some people that's bartending, but for me, coming from a small city, at least bartending wise, Oakland, California at the time, and being able to climb pretty high in a very niche and closed off industry. I'm sure booking at the recording of this podcast, if you go to Netflix, there's this bartending competition show that's on there. A lot of those people that are on that show actually did competition not so long ago, prior to 2018. I'm sure you can search my name and stuff will come up for bartending. But anyway, I used I wanted to use any tool available to get to the best part of that. And I was really connected to energy manifestation. I believed in it. There's things that happened in my life to where I saw a connection in things. But then I also realized that there are things that beyond energy, especially as I got more into coaching and more into understanding how the mind works, subconscious works, because all that stuff is connected to you using energy, spirituality, but then also tools that we can hold on to that we can use for change on top of manifestation, especially if it isn't working for you, to then get the same sort of results that people that naturally can manifest have. So for me, once I realized this, I had a huge aha moment where wait, if I change my physiology, if I change the words that I use, if I change the way that I think and do all those things actively, then I can manifest the life that I want. It's not just wishing for the secret or all these things. It's feeling it, it's becoming it, and then allowing that change to happen because you've already become that person. The way that you're navigating through life, you become a hot knife through butter, opposed to, I don't know, a cold knife searching for butter to cut, or just a cold knife trying to cut down a tree. It's probably a butter knife trying to saw down a tree. You're more of a hot knife being able to cut through butter. So with manifesting, there's, and I talked about before in another podcast, there's, for some people, they're stuck in a desire state. And if you think about desire, it's kind of being out there in a desert, desiring water and just waiting and wishing for it to come. And if you can see it as something that is active, even though you know that it might be a mirage there, you're still going to walk forward. You're going to still search for clues to get you to the water, whether it be a bird flying towards that that mirage, which that is really an oasis, and going towards it. You have to actively do things. And so how do you actively manifest? One is this one book that I read by Neville Goddard, and I alluded to it earlier, called Feeling the Secret. It's being able to pray as if things have already happened. And when you think about that on a subconscious level, especially if you think about uh, hypnosis and how that works, we have this thing in our brain called the critical factor. Now, if we're able to get past that critical factor, whether it's through hypnosis, whether it's through journaling, a life event that happens that makes us have a quick change in our life, whatever it is, once we're able to get past that critical factor, that barrier of our conscious mind not letting stuff in and then allowing stuff to come in that's going to change us, doing that, you're able to change this thing called your reticular activating system. This is the thing, this is your filter, another filter that you have that allows you to process data a certain way. So in our brains, the outside world, right? There's 7 billion bytes of data out there. When I say data, input from sound to the things you see, to things you smell, to feeling your heartbeat in your chest, to feeling that you feel in your foot right now, maybe feeling what your fingers feel, thinking about it, to knowing what it feels to breathe, and then exhaling, and then feeling what it feels to relax. There's all those things that you have to focus on when they're happening. Same thing, that's all the data that you're taking in. There's a filter in your mind called the reticular activated system that chooses what you should focus on. So if I say right now, look at your hand. Now find everything that's red in your room. You'll look around and you'll notice, I didn't notice that there was that many red things in my room. And even if there isn't anything in red in your room, then you would notice, well, I never noticed how many things that aren't red in my room. It's what you focus on. So if you're able to go in your subconscious, again, getting past that critical factor, and then being able to search for the things you want to search, it becomes your manifestation radar. And then once I realized that and how to do that, that totally changed my life. And then I realized I had control over the things that I manifested. Instead of waiting for things to happen to me, I could become the cause. Instead of just waiting for the effect of something to happen for me, I can actively become the thing. I could become the tuning fork. I could become the thing that searched the things I wanted to manifest. So for you today, think about the things that you want to manifest and start thinking about how you're looking through life and how you're processing the data that's coming in, and do whatever you can, whether it's meditating, whether it's journaling, whether it's working with somebody, to be able to change that critical factor in your mind so you could turn on that tuning fork in your head to manifest the things that you want. And that's it. This short little podcast on how to manifest the life that you want. And this is Douglas from Curing Broke. And thank you for listening to the podcast.